Yo, yo. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully everyone's alive. Gonna get settled in here, and then we'll get into some stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Got a lot to cover today. We'll spend a bit of time on Bitcoin per usual, cover where we're at, where I think we're gonna go, etc. Answer questions. We'll get into some altcoins here and there. Talk about some of the events that have happened. Some have been hilarious. Some have been straight up sad. But yeah, cheers everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Just about alive. Alright, I'm gonna catch up with chat for a minute. Let me know how the background music is, if it's too loud, etc. Got flamed for the background music last week, even though I really liked it. Apparently it was a little too depressing for the gang, so we got upbeat vibes today. Hopefully that's better. Need some direction? Well, I got you, Frank. No problem. If you're down bad today, it's just unrealized loss, so it's imaginary. Classic. Scheduled a call for you 20 minutes from now, and it's over for you, Kliptoski. You're shadow banned on Twitter. I don't get the notification. People keep saying that, but when I look up if I'm shadow banned, it doesn't say anything, so I don't know. My engagement seems to be normal. One thing I would check, Peter, is that sometimes like the notifications get turned off, so go back to my page and make sure that you even have the notifications turned on. I've seen that before where some people, I don't keep a lot of people on notifications, but I have some, and I've had it before where I wasn't getting any notifications from them, and I went back to their page and notifications were turned off. I think Twitter does that sometimes, or I don't know. Do you reckon NVIDIA's AI conference will have any impact on AI coins? Even, I mean, fuck, you know? Do I really know the answer to that question? No. I think that Bitcoin's bottom is soon. I don't think this is the bottom at all. But I think the bottom is coming soon. We just need to see a bit of a climax in selling, and from there, I think that, yeah, I mean, AI and memes have been the leading alts for a while now. I think that it's the perfect combination between, you know, left side of distribution and right side of distribution. So I think that AI and memes will continue to do well this cycle. Eventually we'll have other narratives take hold, but for the time being, that's what we're at. Music a little bit lower. Let's see. What's the meaning behind your profile picture? PEPE is a part of the same family as PEPE. He's from the same artist. So I started using PEPE a long time ago because Lear and I thought it was funny. And my profile picture is Michael Jordan because that's who I aspire to be in the trading world. The best. Buying more coin on this dip? It's probably not a bad call. I'll look at the chart later. I don't even know what Coinbase looks like. By the way, you don't seem shadow banned for me. Yeah, I really don't think I am shadow banned. But people keep saying it I literally get those messages like once a day, so I don't know what to think. You see the capo, how they bought 500 Bitcoin, or you mean sold 500 Bitcoin to make the 12K wick? Yeah. So guys, whenever that kind of shit happens, I would imagine what happened with the BitMEX thing last night was probably that those Bitcoin were stolen or hacked, generally when somebody has no, how do I word it? No, doesn't care about price impact at all. It's normally because they're just trying to yeet out of stolen shit. That's probably what that was, right? Those probably hacked or stolen Bitcoin. Magus, do you ever read a more or less rigorous thesis on the market? Often likes to follow the Max Payne path. I'm not sure exactly what your question is. Have you ever read more or less rigorous thesis on why markets like why do markets like to hurt market participants? It's just the name of the game. Somebody a long time ago made this example that I always thought was good, that essentially the market is like a car going down a road, and you have pedestrians walking this way, and you have pedestrians walking this way, and the objective of the market is to do this, right? The car is designed to swerve back and forth and take out as many of the pedestrians as possible. It's a pretty morbid way of like explaining it, but it's a pretty realistic way. Our market has gotten a lot less predatory in its price action over the years. For a long time, the significant majority of price action was this, just swerving back and forth and killing as many pedestrians as possible. We have much more, because our market is matured a lot and is far more liquid now. It's not really the case where we do this as much, but to some extent, it's still true to some extent. And I mean, when you look at like the Bitcoin trend that we've had over the past, several months, there isn't really too much predatory price action, right? I mean, like, yeah, we're bleeding down right now, but we haven't been just like taking out stops and stuff like we used to. So it's important that you learn these lessons, but also take them with a grain of salt as you go through your trading career, because the market's ever evolving, and we don't really have that type of style anymore. It's much less predatory now. When rotations happen, are you rotating spot bags? Yeah, to some extent. So for larger narrative plays, I don't believe in trading derivatives for them, because there isn't going to be liquid futures contracts for you to trade, so your only option is going to be perps. And if they're hot perps that everyone else is trading, the funding is going to get expensive. So you don't want to be sitting in swing longs on perps for weeks or months, right? So you want to be rotating spot bags around. I still have a fairly decent amount of cash ready to go, so I don't really need to sell existing bags to buy more. I probably will just deploy more capital. I still probably have like 15 to 20% of my money is in cash still. I've been like that from the bottom, more or less. What's with OKX removing USDT for European clients? I think it's a regulatory thing. I'm not an expert on this at all. I think it's a regulatory thing, though, where the European Union is going to be cracking down on stablecoins and trying to legislate them out. I mean, for a euro, I kind of understand. It's like, you don't really like the idea of everything in the world being denominated in dollars. I mean, that's one of the reasons why the US is a economic superpower, because significant majority of trade in the world is based on the dollar. For whatever reason, it seems like the European Union is very scared of crypto. A lot of their rhetoric is very fearful. You just gotta fucking adopt the new things and not be pussies about it, though. Let's be real. Yeah, it was regulatory. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. I know that's common sense. I was wondering if there's any microeconomic theory that has provided a reasonable explanation to that. Yeah, I mean, it's because, we're going back to the the car swerving analogy, right? It's just, if I'm a larger participant, which which I'm not, you know, of this size at all or this magnitude, but if I'm a larger participant, a huge part of how I make money is stopping people, you know, is taking people's stops, because that's how I get my fills, right? You know, I provide, if I was one of those people, I'd be providing liquidity when people are getting forced out of position, and that's the easiest way to get in and out of your trades as a larger person. So I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, you can just, you know, even myself, we can just like yeet into positions. At least on like Bitcoin, I can just mark it into anything and I'm not going to have very much price impact. But if you're a really big, you know, firm or something, you need to, you know, I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on too much, but I mean, that it really is true to an extent, like the whole evil market maker kind of concept, right? That it's really not proper to explain it the way that everyone else talks about it, but the idea that you need to source liquidity from a you know, it's like, let me explain it like this. What do the biggest whales in the ocean eat? They eat a shitload of small microorganisms. So think about it like that. You have these few large entities, and in order to sustain themselves, they need to eat a lot, you know, millions of weak, smaller participants. I put a thread out about where I used the ocean analogy, and I like used a whole bunch of different animals in the ocean to break down the kind of anatomy of trading. I'm not going to look it up right now. I think it's probably in my highlighted tweets, so it's probably worth reading. It's just like a quick little couple paragraph explanation using whales, sharks, and various creatures of the sea to explain how the markets work. Have you released the trading guide that you previewed in February? No, I haven't been able to get to it. I've had way too much stuff going on. Way too many things that I need to get done every week, and a lot of them are not getting done. So no, I haven't completed that guide. It will get completed eventually. It's just a matter of when do I have time to do it. I've been really kind of overworked with how much stuff I have to get done recently, and yeah, it just is what it is. I just don't have I don't have the time to get it done. Something like that requires, like, I'm not going to half-ass it. I need to put good, proper effort into it. So it'll get done whenever it does, is the best answer I can give you. Loving the analogies. Glad to hear it, brother. Are we back now? I don't think we're back. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think we're back just yet. So yeah, let me go ahead and I'm going to ignore chat for a few. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to get into a bit of a Bitcoin breakdown right now, and then I'll come back and reconverge with chat afterwards. What up, Reg? I'm well. How are you? All right. So these were my higher time frame plans this week. Quick little water break. Give me a sec. All right. These were my plans this week. One, the main plan that I was hoping for, which still could be the case, was this, you know, and I'll show. I deleted it from this chart. Never mind. It's annoying keeping drawings on my charts. I can't actually see the chart when I keep the stupid drawings on there. So this was my number one plan, was us trading down from, you know, 68K at the beginning of the week down towards 64K. Which 64K is, there's a lot of levels that overlap here, significant levels that I was trying to pay attention to. It's still possible that the 64K dip is intact right now. I mean, I don't view like levels as like, this is the level that we're trading at and we have to bounce right at the level, right? Levels should be, you know, TA is a meme, so you should be looking at like, you know, levels more as a region more than anything, so we can wick through it and then come back above it and be fine. So technically my primary plan for the week still could be intact. I don't really think it is, if I'm being honest, because there's been no climax in this selling. It's just been slow and controlled selling down, and that's not what you want to, this is not what you want to see to gauge a bottom. You want to see, like, you know, it bleed down and then see an excess, right? See a massive kind of blowout move where, you know, perps puke. You know, as of now, this has been largely spot driven, which is not what we want to see for proper bottoms. So my first plan for the week was trade down to 64K and build a proper bottom, and, you know, have some sort of excess wick, and then start to round out and then trade back up again, right? That was my main plan for the week. I think it's still possible, but I don't know, guys. I'm kind of getting the vibe that the lower dip is probably what's going to end up being the resolution for us. So the other situation was 69K was, in, you know, relevant support that was turned into resistance. If you look at this on medium time frame, 69K got rejected a couple of times before we traded lower. So my invalidation on conservative, you know, on my conservative approach was if we accepted above 69K, then we could trade up higher to fresh highs. This is, you know, clearly not going to be the case right now. The third scenario was that we would trade down towards 60K, which I think is probably the most likely at this point, because we're probably going to debate longs and trade up a little bit, but then we'll probably end up selling down lower, in my opinion. This has been largely spot led, which is not what you want to see for bottoms, right? If we look at all like the kind of bottoms that we had, you know, we'll look at this on medium time frame as well, but they're all like, you know, essentially wicks that are largely led by perps just getting blown out and stopped out. So I think that we'll probably trade lower. Is my thesis though for being bullish, you know, in trouble at all? I don't think so, guys. I still am very, very optimistic about this. We'll go into detail to some extent. I don't want to fully leak how I view this stuff, because I'm tired of seeing other people on Twitter take my shit. But we talked about, you know, in the past couple of streams, we talked about how we were extremely overextended from value, and that was the only reason to be bearish, in my opinion. And we're getting that value reset now, where we've traded towards the, you know, yearly and quarterly value area high for the year. So that's, you know, I know this has probably been painful for some of you, but this is actually very, very healthy price action for us to potentially just, you know, form a bottom here very soon and trade up higher. So TLDR is, we're still super bullish, in my opinion, across the board. All we're doing is just chopping up and washing out people that, you know, have weak positioning and are more susceptible to that. I think that we will resolve upwards. If I had to guess, I think we'll probably trade a little bit lower, but technically my main play for the week is still intact. I just don't like the way that the lows look right now, so I want to see some sort of wick before I would think that the lows are really in. So that's pretty much it for higher time frame, guys, right? Like 60K is significant macro support right now. If we lose 60K, then I'm going to change my tune on things pretty dramatically. And I would be probably pretty bearish if we lose 60K, and expecting us to probably trade down into like the 40s or 30s at that point. So I'm not interested in just bag holding all the way down here. I will, you know, make adjustments. As far as risk goes right now, you know, my only risk is basically, you know, swing longs from much lower. I think I'm kind of underwater on my meme bags right now, or like at break. I guess I'm like more or less break even on the meme bags right now. So that's like the only thing that has me worried at all, is my meme bags are definitely down. But, you know, everything, all my spot trades are for the long haul, so I'm not really too worried about getting chopped up on them in the short term. So if there's any questions on this, throw them in the chat and I'll get them answered. But I mean, the TLDR of everything is that we're just chopping people up and bleeding weak bulls out before we trade higher, in my opinion. I'm still very optimistic about everything. I think we're definitely still on the precipice of a larger bull run. Be mindful that the halvening is here quite soon. So some fuckery before and after the halvening is pretty common. And then, you know, a couple months, you know, the halvening's in May, and then probably June, you know, July, September, you know, probably by the time we start to get towards Q3 of this year, we're probably going to be much higher, right? So I would imagine by the time we get to Q3, we'll be up in the 80s or 90s probably. So, you know, manage your risk. I'm not saying be retarded about it and just like let yourself get blown out, but, you know, it's easier for me to say that kind of stuff because my positioning isn't really at risk. So if you positioned higher, you maybe need to be reevaluating things, but I'm still really optimistic about us trading higher later in the year. So we'll pause and catch up with chat and answer any important questions, and then we'll move on to VWAPs and medium time frame. right, let's see, what do we got? What do we got? Appreciate the update. No problem, dude. That's what I'm here for. If I'm small enough shrimp, I may pass right through the back end. That's a fucking funny way of... That's a funny way of looking at it. Yeah, if you're small enough, the whale might not even digest you. You're just gonna get shit right out the back end and just be alive still somehow. That's fucking hilarious. No strength showing on spaghetti. I mean, yeah, I didn't really even scan spaghetti that much. I mean, I don't know if I would agree with that. The majority of sectors are outperforming Bitcoin on this local bounce we've got right now, so I don't think I would agree with that statement necessarily. Megalodon mag. Arthur explained the wick to 12K. Arthur explained, you're saying? What did he say? People are just dumping their Bitcoin for Bitcoin NFTs. No shot that's what's happening. If that's what Arthur said, he's fucking trolling for sure. The reality, almost, you know, there's no certainty behind this, right? Until some on-chain nerd comes out and puts out a thread on it. But I would imagine that the reason why BitMEX wicked the way it did was because there was some sort of fraud, hack, or stolen Bitcoin that was getting yeeted, right? That's like a common way that, you know, nefarious people, you know, act. They will buy or steal a KYC'd account on one of these centralized exchanges. They will send the, you know, Bitcoin that was acquired fraudulently or, you know, in a nefarious way. They will send it to that exchange. They will dump it, and that's a, you know, way for them to essentially clean it in the short term, because you throw that shit, you know, that Bitcoin in with the larger pool on the centralized exchange. You sell it into Tether or whatever, and you pull it out. So, I mean, we've seen that a lot. So that's probably what that is, right? If normally when people are not price sensitive and are willing to just eat, you know, 50% slippage on selling something that's liquid like Bitcoin, then it's because it's fraudulent, the majority of the time. Cyber scam pump. Yeah, we'll look at altcoins later. Try not to put your altcoins in the chat just yet. Also underwater on memes, but Solana saving me. Yeah, definitely Solana's been the savior. Solana has saved me from going into any sort of like really painful drawdown. Would you hedge before the halvening? I wouldn't explain it. I wouldn't explain it in a simple way like that. It's not some sort of cookie cutter thing like, oh, I'm just going to hedge before the halvening. I'm going to trade my system if my system says to hedge. I mean, realistically, I should have already hedged my portfolio. I thought about it when we were at like 68K. I thought about it, and I just said, fuck it. I'm not super, you know, hedging is absolutely an edge when done properly, but a lot of the times it just leads to chopping yourself up. So chose not to do it this time, which was obviously a mistake in hindsight, but it is what it is. Would I try to hedge before the halvening? I don't care about the event itself. I'm just going to follow my system, and I would probably urge most people to function that way. Try not to let a whole bunch of, you know, random information coming into, you know, into your mind affect your trading. I think that most of us are probably not smart enough to make proper decisions based off that. You're not 160 IQ, so you should just be assume the role of the 60 IQ person and just trade your system and say, fuck it, I don't care about anything. I'm going to do what my system says. Obviously, you need to have built up a proper system to be able to do that. Can round bottoms form without a climactic flush down? They can. It's just that generally that's not the case. You know, it kind of depends. Like, you know, there are instances where, you know, you kind of get bottoms that don't have dramatic flushes, but they're normally led by a flush. So you'll normally have a big flush that leads into a rounded bottom and you round out. That's a terrible drawing, but you kind of get my point. I would just say that, like, the significant majority of bottoms on Bitcoin come from, like, climaxes in the selling. Can you form a bottom without a climax? Absolutely. It's just like, it matters a lot where the selling is coming from. If the selling is coming from spot and there's not really pressure being applied to perps, and like there isn't really perps that are exposed to that selling, then you could get around at bottom, right? Because you could have an instance where spot is selling very slowly and then spot stops selling and you kind of just round out and then go back up, right? The only reason why you would have this happen though is if there isn't a lot of open interest from perps that is at risk or getting squeezed out, which right now I definitely don't think is the case. There's a lot of there's a lot of open interest right now that's probably getting pressured by this selling. So normally what happens is you have spot sell it slowly, right, and controlled, and then eventually the perps can't hold, they can't survive any longer, and then they get blown out, and then the bottom forms, right? That's an oversimplification, but this is a good way of viewing it for sure. Go and look at, OI. I mean, there's still probably a fairly large amount of OI open right now, so yeah, I think that more than likely is that perps are going to get blown out soon. But technically, we could already have bottomed. I don't really think I would bet on it personally. I really hate to hear about risk management. I don't know what to tell you then, dude. Like, you aren't gonna make it if you don't manage your risk. It's the most boring topic, but the most important. You gotta survive, right? This is a game of survival. This is an infinite game, not a finite game. If you don't focus on survival long term, then you're not gonna make it. That's for sure. Like, probably I have a lot of edges, I believe, but I think that just the fact that I survived trading for 8+ years, or trading crypto for like 8+ years now, that's might be my biggest edge. Loving the background music. Good to hear, dude. How low do you think ETH can go? I'll cover ETH properly after I get through Bitcoin. Good morning, Legends. Hit the like button. Yeah, shout out Doc. Thanks, Doc. Yeah, if you guys could press the like button. There's 190 of you in here and 34 likes. So yeah, press that like button for me. It helps us out a lot with the YouTube algo. Do you look at long short ratio in these conditions? Never, dude. I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. Shilling shitcoins when I'm in the Bitcoin section. Guys, don't shill shitcoins, please. We'll do shitcoins later. A bounce to 66K until FOMC and then a retest of 60K. Yeah, that could be. I don't really care that much about the FOMC, to be honest. I think the FOMC is like not like the kind of event that I'm really going to click buttons based off of, but I will pay attention to it because, I'm a bull. I want to be, even more bullish than I am. And the rhetoric that Powell uses will be really important, because if Powell comes out and has any sort of clear indication that they're leaning towards, cutting rates soon, that's what we want to see, right? Cutting rates will be very bullish for Bitcoin in the medium to long term. Global open interest went from 55 billion to 76 billion when Bitcoin went from 62 to 73. Yeah, I mean, I would, I'm oversimplifying, but I would argue that like a lot of more native participants have missed a lot of this move, which is really sad. We've traded up a lot in the past like 15 months. And a lot of people have missed it. So what do? Well, let's like leverage long the breakout of the all-time high. I mean, that's essentially what we're seeing here, and that's why we're chopping the way we are. Arguably, that in combination with the spot distribution from GBTC. Yeah, I'm sure the FOMC will be boring. I wouldn't really even recommend that you listen to him talk. Just like look at the fucking headlines. That's the only thing you really need to care about. Look at the headlines, see if he says if there's any rhetoric. Let the nerds do it for you. See if there's any rhetoric that says that they're going to cut rates. If there is, you want to be bullish in the medium to long term for sure, because we traded up this way without rates getting cut. If they get cut, that's going to help us send for sure. But I wouldn't really recommend you sit there and watch the FOMC. I do it for the memes because like sometimes there's shit that's funny, so I'll like have it on in the background, and like when that Jenna girl comes on, I'm gonna fucking meme on Twitter about being thirsty and shit because I think it's funny. But yeah, I mean most everything that I do with like social media and stuff is just for fun. I don't take that shit too seriously. I try to be a little more serious on the streams and try to be retardio on the Twitter. I believe the selling of the ETF guys positioning for FOMC. I don't think so. I think that the significant majority of the spot selling that we're seeing is the unwind from GBTC. I don't think it has anything to do with FOMC. Cutting rates will nuke stocks and equities. How are you? Cutting rates means economy is weak. I don't understand how you guys are coming to this conclusion. I don't think that cutting rates is going to nuke equities. It might nuke them like immediately or something theoretically, but in the medium to long term, cutting rates is... If money's cheaper, it's easier for people to borrow money and buy shit with it. 3 times liquidated, you're correct. Cutting rates attracts buyers. No, correct. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we've got people that are saying it's bearish. It makes money cheaper, which is bullish. It's pretty simple. Historically, equities have nuked briefly after cuts. I mean, pay close attention to the wording that I used. I said in the medium to long term. I didn't talk about immediately what will happen. All right, we're moving on from this conversation because it's boring. I don't really care about this shit anyway. So I was just simply saying that's why people care about the FOMC. I won't, I'm gonna watch the FOMC shit for the memes, not because I care. Be right back, boys. Cutting rates on Bitcoin right now. Yeah, I don't think any of this shit really matters that much. It's just a point to casually make. It's not that important. Look at what happened with, with or without rates. All right. I'm gonna keep this conversation light because I'm like I said earlier, I'm kind of tired of seeing other people take my shit and use it as their own. It's really annoying. You fucking trademark this shit. But essentially, one of the main things that had me worrisome when we were up here was the fact that we're really overextended from value. There's been 0 periods in the history of Bitcoin's life where it, with values here and Bitcoin trades up and doesn't have some reconversions. The 2 versions of reconvergence that happen are either A, Bitcoin trades back into value, right? Or B, Bitcoin goes sideways and value converges with it, right? 1 and 2. These are the 2 ways that balance, is restored with value, and we are getting, 1, right? So as painful as this might have been for a lot of you, this is healthy for sure. To have a reconvergence with value where, this is just a healthy sign in general, right? You don't want to see periods where Bitcoin is very far ahead, because anytime that's the case, it actually increases the likelihood of selling coming in. So that's pretty much that. As far as like the yearly and quarterly, VWAP go, we'll look at the yearly really quickly just on higher time frame. I mean, it's still fucking super bullish, right? The yearly, we're trading way ahead of the yearly. The yearly sloped upwards. We're currently retesting the yearly and the quarterly value area high for 2024. This is one of my potential bottom zones. If not, then we might trade lower, but not that much lower, right? So we'll see. Realistically, I don't think that betting that the bottom is in makes that much sense. But I think that the bottom is very soon. That's pretty much that. You know, the focusing in on the quarterly, it's just textbook bullish, right? There's nothing about this that is bearish. The only thing that was worrisome at all was the overextension aspect of it. If we look at the monthly for March, I mean, the monthly isn't really looking that great. But I mean, this doesn't hold the same weight that the quarterly does. I mean, the monthly doesn't even look that bad. It's kind of neutral bearish. The fact that we're trading into the lows right here is maybe not a good sign. We don't want to see continued rejection and see that the monthly starts to slope downwards at all. We want to see it get back above the monthly eventually and continue the sloping upwards. I'm going to digress from the VWAP stuff. We'll cover medium time frame, and then we'll get into ETH, Solana, and other various altcoins. I'm gonna catch up a chat first, though. Isn't cutting rates because things are messed up badly? I mean, historically, right? But I think that the world is putting pressure on Powell to cut rates. I think that's where that conversation comes from, right? People want cheap money. That's been cheap money has been the status quo for many years. Only recently, over the past like 2 years, have rates been increased. For people got very used to having those low rates for over a decade. So I think that that's where the argument comes in. Funding value question mark? What are you saying? Throw away? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. We're going full retard with this rates cut conversation. This is why I don't like talking about these things at all. Let's not pretend that we're macroeconomists over here. I'm gonna keep it 100 with all you guys. None of you fucking know what the hell you're talking about with that shit. So let's just move on. Bitcoin slowly bleeding. Does it mean the bottom is gonna take longer to form? Does it mean that the bottoms are gonna take longer to form? Yeah, kind of it does, because we're waiting for like a climax in selling, like I've said a couple of times. You wanna see a climax in selling. And we don't see that. Comment on Doge. Well, I'll talk about Doge when I get to altcoins. When will it go up? Tomorrow. I don't know, dude. Soon. It's the yellow line on your chart. It's the 30-day rolling VWAP. Price converging with value. You meant funding value? It doesn't have anything to do with funding. It's a VWAP, or it's like an auction market theory strategy, right? If you have a volume profile, right, and you have a value area high and a value area low, if price is really far away from the value area high, you want to see, and this is not for like a daily. Imagine this is like a monthly or like a yearly profile or something like that. You want to see a convergence where, like, as the value area high shifts up, as price goes up, you want to see at some point price come back and reconverge with it. That's the, core concept, behind the VWAP stuff. It's just basic auction market theory concept. I don't really want to explain that anymore, though. I'm gonna catch up with chat, and then I'll cover a couple of medium time frame conversations, and then we'll move on to shit coins after that. Yeah, the dollar index charts are coming soon. Congrats, welcome, CeeLo. Looks like the market's bouncing here. We're back, guys. Yeah, I don't think we're back just yet, but have replaced my Twitter news and intake with Paragon discussion. I think that's probably pretty wise, Cryptoski. A lot of the boys in there are much more reasonable and intelligent than what you're going to see on Twitter, let's be real. What would invalidate your bullish higher time thesis? Like I said, 60K basically. If I see 60K get lost, then that'll be a reason why I would change the tune. But there's a difference. I've talked about this a bunch of times before. There's a difference between thesis invalidation and risk invalidation. So if 60K gets lost, that'll invalidate my risk threshold, where I don't want to be extremely long anymore, like, you know, at that point, right? I would be finding ways to protect myself and reduce my risk. But that wouldn't kill the bull thesis at all. I think that we could trade all the way down into 40s, 50s, or even into the 30s and still trade up higher later this year. So there's a difference between risk, you know, invalidation for risk and invalidation for thesis. And as far as the thesis goes, I'm going full retardio with it. I think that, like, there's not going to be too much that changes that view. The only thing that would really change that for me is if there was like a really stark shift in flows, which we've seen that kind of those bearish flows recently, but I would need to see a lot more to be bearish, and I would want to see like bearish structuring, right, rather than, you know, I would want to see us building value and trading down and building value below it, and see that, you know, that's why you would want to be bearish. All right. All right, so as far as medium time frame goes, the anchored VWAP has been a pretty clear trend shift sign for me. We did reconvert, you know, 64K was kind of the first bottom zone that I was looking for, which is the rolling VWAP, as well as the previous, you know, composite from 2021 over here. I don't really think that this is going to be the bottom. This is probably just a local swing point, so it could trade all the way up to, like, you know, 67 or something like that, get rejected, and then trade down lower. I would like us to just go ahead and pull the band-aid off and trade down immediately, but the key thing, guys, is that you don't want to see your selling look like this. You want to see it actually have a point where there's an excess, or a climax rather, where people get blown the fuck out. That's the point. You know, pretty much all swing highs and swing lows in markets, maybe not swing highs as much, but definitely pretty much every major swing low, or you know, true low for a trend, comes from people getting blown out. So as far as medium time frame goes, I kind of already talked about this, but at the beginning of the week, I wanted to see 69K get reclaimed to be kind of risk on again. If we saw, you know, these kind of two regions get reclaimed, then that would be a trigger to trade up higher. This could be a local low, but I want to see it maybe do one more kind of stab down and then reclaim it. If it does something like that, that could be the low. Otherwise, where this is the main, you know, area to be targeting for the low. So there isn't really a whole lot of stuff to cover on the medium time frame, because I don't want to leak the main thing that I'm looking at here. So we'll pretty much digress and move on from there, and we'll get into some altcoins. Start with ETH, we'll look at Solana, and then we'll look at shitcoins from there. Imagine if we traded the 30s, that would be brutal. Yeah, it would be, but it wouldn't really be like out of the realm of possibilities at all. Don't think we get Bitcoin to ETH rotation this cycle. Think Sol replacing ETH. Now Sol is cooling off and altcoins run soon. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I do think that ETH will have its moment. ETH is like, you know, we can just go ahead and move over to that. Out of all my spot positions, ETH is my smallest one by far. But I do, you know, I have started to buy up a little bit of ETH recently, and I think that over the next year and a half or something, I do think that ETH will have its moment. I think that the same exact kind of play that happened with Bitcoin with the ETFs will happen, where eventually people will start to front run the ETF, and that will start Ethereum's kind of moment in the sun, is when people front run it. And then you'll get a period after where the ETF finally, you know, it'll probably get rejected a few times. Eventually it'll get approved. And then you'll have the, you know, sustained spot flows going into ETH, similar to what we've seen with Bitcoin. So I think that ETH will have its moment. Trying to position early to that is not going to be fun for most of you. So you probably want to wait for it to be more obvious. and wait to see that clear ETH strength. That's why it's like my smallest bag by far. I even have altcoin bags that are bigger than my ETH. You know, like my Dogecoin bag is bigger than my ETH to give you guys some frame of reference on that. But I do think that ETH will do well eventually. It's just a matter of when. How many are in the Paragon? Is 1 month 30 days from joining, or is it for the month? So we have like, I think like 200 dudes right now, or I shouldn't say dudes, 200 people, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't really keep track of it because Charlie does all the admin stuff. Is 1 month 30 days from joining, or is it from the beginning of the month? So now everything we do is with WAP. We actually got credit cards set up officially, so we had a lot of requests for that, and we dragged our feet on it for our own reasons. But it's from the moment you sign up, 30 days TLDR. We're not gonna be doing the Google form joining at the beginning of the month stuff anymore. The people that are signed up via that method are currently the last people that will ever do that. It's gonna all be through WAP, where you join immediately. Is that risk invalidation based on a percentage of the spot bags? No, it'll be based off systemization. So, I mean, what I could say to better explain that, it would be that the riskier stuff will be the first things to get cut. You know, I'm not going to be quick to sell my Bitcoin bags, right? For example, or my Solana bags, right? The majority of my Solana was bought in the like 20s and 30s. I think like, you know, maybe I bought some in the 40s too. But the majority of my like core bags being Bitcoin and Sol were for much lower. So I'm not interested in like selling those. You know, my highest Bitcoin buy was 25K. So I really don't want to be selling those things. I would be much more inclined to be selling things that I bought higher and things that I don't really care about as much, or are, you know, more risky, right? So memes, for example, would be one of the first things I would probably cut if I was to really start to reevaluate things. The last 24 hours, $600 million liquidated on Bitcoin. I'm going to be honest, that's really not that much if we're being honest about it, you know. MicroStrategy is 8% owned by BlackRock, so they're effing with Michael. Thoughts on Aptos? I'll get into shitcoins later, guys. We're asking about shitcoins too early. I want to cover ETH and I want to cover Solana, and then we'll get into shitters. Fucking Nikki, I was like, I had to read that for a second. I had to read that twice to know what the fuck you were saying. Doge to $1 for sure. Eventually Doge will be $1. Thanks for the Paragon shoutouts, lads. Appreciate you. What up, Sluice? Paragon Retardio reporting for duty. Damn, I don't even need to show the Paragon. The boys do it for me. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. If you were Magus 5 years ago and you bought I don't know what you're saying there, low cap shill, you get a day like today, you're down bad on it, what would you do? Sell it or go into strong coins or hold? These kind of questions are really hard to answer, you know? So you bought a low cap shill, you're down bad on it. Should you take the L and move into strong coins, or should you hold it? That's the question. The best answer I could give you would be, you know, it kind of depends. It's so hard to answer because I don't know how much of a shitter are we talking. Are we talking about like you bought, you know, PEPE coin? You're going to be fine if you bought PEPE, right? It depends on what you're, you know, low cap shitter. You're probably talking about some random on-chain dog shit. Yeah, I mean, you probably want to sell it if I'm being honest. But it's like, I can't really give an honest answer to a question like that because I don't fucking know what your you're talking about, right? If you're talking about like a $5 million market cap shitcoin that you're down a whole bunch on, probably just fucking take the L on it, you know, and move on. If I make 6 figs, I'll join, so maybe in 2026. We look forward to seeing you, bro. Magus, do you like or own any ordinals? Negative, but I do appreciate the the thesis. I have a lot of friends that are bullish on that shit. Is ordinals a mid-curve move? I don't think so. I think that it's people are just probably a little bit early to it, if anything. Oh, it's because you're spelling his name wrong, bro. That's not how you spell Charlie. That's why I didn't know what the fuck you're saying. That's not how you spell that name. When you buy a shitter, assume it's going to 0 and size appropriately. Yeah, I mean, realistically, you should treat like turbo shitters like they're hero or 0 plays. They're either going to go to 0 or they're going to go up 100x, you know? I'm not going to be launching an NFT series, I can assure you of that. Any of the shitcoins or NFTs around PEPE, I have no association with. I think the girls with their nails done now. What the fuck's going on with this music? Magus and Charlie. Does the cycle change like after Bitcoin and ETH pumps, it rotates into memes immediately? Yeah, guys, like go ahead and erase the whole altcoin schematic of Bitcoin to ETH to large caps to shitcoins. Erase that shit from your brain. We're way past that meta. The past, month or two should have taught everybody that, you would have Bitcoin and Solana would go up, and then it would immediately go into dog shit coins, right? There was no middle ground at all. Dogecoin spot is better than ETH spot because Doge is the ETH of the cycle. Yeah, confirmed, dude. We like the cyber music. You want that shit? All right, Nikki. Getting real autistic in the chat. BTC, yeah, Callus has got it right. Bitcoin and Solana into memes, into Bitcoin and Solana into memes. How many coins would you typically hold in the bull run? I mean, so right now, I don't know, I probably have like 8 coins, 9, with like real holdings behind them. As we get as Bitcoin trades up higher, I will be more inclined to buy more shit coins. All right, I'm gonna ignore chat because we're getting real retardio with it, and I'm not really covering any of the stuff I wanted to cover. So we'll cover ETH really lightly because I don't really care that much about ETH. Kind of can't believe ETH lost 3,500 already. 3,500 was a really key area for me, and it got yeeted right through. So I mean, realistically, ETH looks like it wants to trade lower at this point. I wouldn't be too optimistic on ETH at this point. The key levels I was looking at were 4,200 was the final resistance. That was the 60K level equivalency for Bitcoin. 3,500, 2,500, 2K. These are the main levels to pay attention to, in my opinion. I think that, in order to be bullish on ETH, you're waiting for it to reclaim 34 or 3,500 again. Until then, you want to be kind of pessimistic about it. But we don't care about this anyways. Let's go ahead and go to Sol, the real coin. Why the fuck? My shit not loading. Alright, so Solana has been the savior Very, very appreciative of the fact that I bought this thing early and it has done what it's done. 150 was one of the first major resistances I was looking at, and then 175. We've yeeted through all those levels. We've just currently retested the 175 level of support. I think that that was more or less what you're looking for on Solana to want to buy. It wouldn't surprise me if in another couple of months this thing's way up here in the $300 or $400 area. So I'm super optimistic on Solana still. It has pretty much everything that you could ask for going for it, from like, you know, more intelligent, you know, fundamental view. It has value, and then from the stupid side of things, it's got all the degeneracy is happening on Solana. It's very, very easy for people that don't know how to use crypto to get onboarded and use. So I mean, you don't even have to deal with bridging or anything like that. Just buy it on the exchange and send it right to your fucking wallet and start gambling on shitcoins. So pretty much everything that a chain could have going for it, Solana has. So I'm very, very optimistic about Solana. I think that the local low, you know, is probably in. If it's not, then it can maybe trade a little bit lower towards like the 150 support area. But I mean, this might even already be the low. It really is largely contingent upon what Bitcoin does moving forward. I mean, this is a very unhealthy looking low on Bitcoin. I think it's probably a local low. Like I said, we probably trade up to like 67 or something and get bonked back down. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on Sol. We are optimistic on the Solana. It is the official gamble chain for retardios, and that's good. Asking me about miner stocks? Dude, I don't care about stocks. I really hate that we, like, I'm gonna make an official rule. Like, I say this every stream. I would really appreciate it if we didn't fucking put tickers in the chat the way we do. It's super annoying. Can you do a poll here for how many are unemployed? I'm gonna take a wild guess and assume that, like, probably 70% of the people in here are probably unemployed. Because otherwise they'd be at work right now. You're late to the chat, looking for where the Bitcoin's gonna dip. Either 64K is the bottom, or we go to 60K. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't have fucking admins on YouTube the way that I used to be able on Twitch. I could just like give mod to the boys, and they could just fucking banhammer people. But I don't even think that you can do that stuff on YouTube. Drum and bass or house? Probably house. Pretty rich. I'm self-employed, thank you very much. Nice cope, Callus. We're all unemployed, let's be real. Let's be real. I quit in January? Fucking wild man over here. Hire me, please. He quit in January. He wants to get hired in March. That's good. Sol ETH looks good. Sol Bitcoin looks good. I mean, we like the corn. We like the Bitcoin. I'm working from home right now listening to the stream. Chad, Mary. Yeah, but I think you're right. I can probably mod people, but I don't think that, like, I don't know if they can, like, actually moderate the chat the way that they can on Twitch. Maybe they can. How old are you? Nice try, Fed. When did you first get into crypto? I got into crypto in 2016. But before that, I traded stocks and commodities for like 2 years. Alright, well, according to the chat, we can moderate people, so I'm gonna have to give mod to Lear and maybe a couple other people. FBI agents always asking for the age. You'll never find out if I'm old or young. You look at Solana ETH or Solana Bitcoin for your Solana outlook? No, I don't care about any of that shit. I just do against the dollar. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't care. Who's getting work? We're creating jobs out here. Soon AI will secure that, or take over, secure that bread. Yeah, many jobs will go away, but that's fine. We will just simply create new jobs. Last stream, somebody asked if I hit generational wealth this cycle, if I could give them a job cleaning my driveway, and we called it pre-employed. I'm still laughing about that shit. That was so funny. Pre-employed. You guys are trying to guess my age. How would you describe your physical features? We're getting real sussy in the chat. It's over. That was me. I recorded it. Mr. Smith, yeah, you're a legend for that. That shit was so funny. Doge, you need to get to sleep. Damn. That's what happens when you go full Hollywood. I'll never go full Hollywood. I'm always going to be primarily retardio above all. Alright, we'll look at Doge real quick. This was one of my my bagarinos that I have. You know, I bought this, and yeah, I'm like barely above water on this thing. I might be like more break even than anything on Doge at this point. So Doge, the main thing is that the 19-cent seller is a piece of shit. We don't like whoever's selling at 19 cents. We don't like him. All the homies don't fuck with that guy. He's a piece of shit. I'm really optimistic about Doge over the next like year. I think that we'll be trading much higher. The core like resistances are 19 cents. If we flip 19 cents, then we go to 34. If we flip over 34, which that looks like that line level needs to be redrawn. I must have been retardio when I drew that, but same level more or less. If we flip 34, we go to $1.69. Boom. That's the main target for the cycle. Beyond that, we're going to be targeting $4.20. All right, everybody. This free alpha, or like actually, let's plot together. Whenever people in your life tell you where is Doge gonna go, always tell them 420. Okay, we want to program everybody into thinking it can go much higher than it possibly can go. So we're gonna tell everybody 420, and then we're gonna sell at like $1.69 or like $2.20 or something. We're gonna sell up here, and we're gonna tell everybody it can go here. That's how we win. It's kill or be killed. All right, but as far as like supports go, I think the local lows are probably pretty soon. Again, it's all contingent upon what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's starting to bounce a bit right now. I think that Bitcoin will probably trade lower later this week. Altcoins will probably see one more big red day as a result, and from there we will probably see lows actually formed. You know, so Doge, we're looking at like the 12-cent kind of region as the actual swing point for this before it can trade back up towards 19 cents in my opinion. So I mean, that's pretty much it on the Doge Reno. You know, if we trade down into the 12-cent region, I'll go underwater on my buys, but I really don't care. I feel very optimistic on this thing long term. Eventually, Doge will trade much higher. No shot. Somebody's saying I'm 48 years old. Get the fuck out of here. You just turn on your laptop cam and end the speculation. I don't even know where my laptop is, so it's not happening. I'm probably never going to dox because there's nothing for me to gain from it, only to lose. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid? Damn. When I was really young, I loved Thundercats when I was like a child, like, you know, when I was like 4 years old. I was all, or maybe like 5 or 6, I don't really remember. I was all about Thundercats. That shit was the best. I don't really know. As I got like maybe a little bit older, probably my favorite cartoon probably is Avatar: The Last Airbender. That shit is insanely good. Alright, Sluice, you're gonna get fucking banned. I'm gonna fucking body you in the chat later. I know what you look like. I know where you live. It's over for you. I'm gonna fucking send Yubi to break your kneecaps. Eventually, we're gonna fucking break the DOGE 19-cent Zelda. We're gonna break him one day. Magus plays Counter-Strike, so he's got to be closer to Boomer than Zoomer. It's a pretty decent read, I'm not gonna lie. Counter-Strike, like most video games, are a young man's game, but Counter-Strike is more about the brain than anything else, so it's definitely an old man game by comparison. But it's also the best video game ever invented. If you think otherwise, you're gay. Could you Pepe? Yeah, so I'm bagged up on Pepe as well. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Like, fuck TA, guys. TA is retarded. This thing's gonna go up a lot eventually. That's all you need to know, honestly. Sorry, I'm at that point where I don't care about being smart anymore on the stream. This thing is gonna go up a lot eventually. That's all that we really need to know. All these meme coins right here, maybe Bonk is gonna be the shittiest of them all, but like Doge, Whiff, you know, not AA, Pepe, all these memes right here, they will go up a lot. That's all you need to know. Tomorrow is the day of the frog, so Pepe's probably gonna do really well over the next 24 hours. We like the Pepe. I have a bag of Pepe. It's going to go up. It's just a matter of when. Arbitrum, I could probably give a more reasonable conversation on Arbitrum. Arbitrum looks like hot ass. God damn. Arbitrum looks like dog water right now. So I wouldn't be bullish on any of the ETH beta right now, because ETH itself is a piece of shit, so there's no reason to be optimistic on ETH beta. Eventually, ETH will be hot. Like I said earlier, like 30 minutes ago, eventually ETH will have its time in the sun. It will be a hot coin, and it will go up a lot. And when that happens, OP, Arbitrum, LDO, Ethereum Classic, all these fucking ETH beta coins will go up a lot. But until then, there's no reason to be bullish on this one, I don't think. Technically, the structure, the medium time frame structure is okay. This structuring is garbage, though. So I would not be very optimistic on this coin, if I'm being real with you. Why Doge if she pumps harder? I mean, I own all of them. I own literally all these, right? So I don't I have a portfolio of all the meme coins. So it's not like I'm just highlighting Doge. I just like to bull post Doge because I think it's funny more than anything. I like the memes of it. But I mean, Shiba's probably not that good of a play. Let's be honest. I'm not really overly optimistic on Shiba. It just makes sense to have in the portfolio. So it's there. Simple as that. Oh, damn, the boys be chatting. I can't keep up with the chatterino. If Doge goes to 420, I'll get a Magus tattoo. Everybody screenshot that shit. I want to see a fucking blepe on Nikki's ass next year. Cryptoski signed up as well. It's over for you guys. You're going to have a blepe on your left ass cheek. This is the kind of propaganda I signed up for. Honestly, I'm really, like, I'm at a stage in my trading where I really don't care about a lot of the technical sides behind things, right? I don't really care about, like, levels and shit. Fuck all that stuff. Like, what's the trend? The trend is up. Like, all this stuff's gonna go up. It's just gonna be a matter of what goes up more than other things. We're just patiently waiting for this sell wave to be over, and then we will go up again. 420 blaze it. Kathy Wood sees the price of Bitcoin at 1.5 million. She's doing exactly what we're doing with Doge, right? We're going to tell everybody that Doge is going to go all the way up here to 420 so that we can sell here. Kathy is saying that for two reasons. A, she wants to dump on you at 200K. A. B, she wants media attention. So being that retard that goes on TV and goes, yeah, Bitcoin's gonna go to $150 million or whatever, right? That's how you get, like, clicks. She's just clickbaiting people with that shit. I'm gonna be honest, we don't like Kathy. What the fuck is this? Thoughts on those Christian fundamentalist YouTube channels lately? What the fuck? I don't know what that is, and I don't care about religion, so you're asking the wrong guy. That is wild, though. Especially because your name is Lucifer. Lucifer is asking me about Christian fundamentalist YouTube channels. That's fucking too good, honestly. Too good. Never dox? Yeah, I mean, the main reason why I'll never dox is because I don't want repercussions for family members, you know? MAGA should stream with a blepe mask on. All right, guys. When Doge is over $1.50, I will stream with a blepe mask or one of those vlog fucking things where it like puts a blepe over my face. In which year were you 5 or 6? Nice try, Fed. Did you watch the Netflix adaptation? You're probably talking about Avatar. I watched the first like 4 episodes and that shit sucked. I'm not gonna lie. There's something like not right about it because like Avatar is like a cheesy show. Like I love it. I think it has like the most wild amount of depth for a children's TV show, you know, but it's like cheesy. So to see live action, it just didn't make sense. That, and they butchered a lot of the pieces of the story, right? You know, the episode where they go to Amashu and he meets Boomy, he knows it's Boomy right away. In like in the real, you know, Avatar, his friends are like getting encapsulated by crystals and dying, and he thinks he needs to save his friends from this evil guy. And so they just like butchered the fucking story, so. Shut up, Sluice. You're a fucking child. Too young for that shit. I watched Avatar on Netflix. It was fun to watch. Which one are you talking about? You still play Valorant? No. I like Counter-Strike way more. I like the mechanics in Counter-Strike are way more appealing, the way that movement works and stuff. And I don't like the culture behind Valorant anymore. I don't fuck with it. Everyone that plays Valorant is too soft. If I tell my teammate that they're an idiot in Valorant, they fucking cry and then start throwing. If I say that my teammate's an idiot, and to be clear, I use much harsher language when I play video games. If I say that in Counter-Strike, they talk shit back to me and then just fucking try harder. So I don't fuck with the Valorant community. They're all soft. Can you do MATIC? I don't like MATIC. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? This local trend looks okay. The yearly open looks okay. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is still like in a fucking, you know, looks like a pretty substantial bear trend still, right? Lower highs. You know, I'm not really a fan of trading the older coins for the most part. Solana is like the one exception to that. So, not a big fan of this.
I understand that there's an argument that it's like flipping like a higher time frame level or whatever, but I don't really like the structuring on this one that much. It needs a hot narrative, but MATIC's probably already, you know, already had its time in the sun.
All my homies hate SHIB. I mean, I think the SHIB will be fine. It's the downside to SHIB is its large market cap, but the same argument holds true with DOGE Reno. Check Sui and Say. Damn, Sui looks fucking good. Drag this up. This thing's looking real good. Local trend structuring is bullish. The yearly structuring is really bullish. This is looking sendy. Whenever Bitcoin stops being a bitch and going down, this thing's gonna go up a lot. Say? How do I spell say? Say looks good-ish. I mean, I drew this magical level over here. I don't like this as much as I like Sui, but it doesn't look too bad. Is it time for the Sui and Say reemergence? The trend structuring is healthy on this one, definitely. So this is a pretty good looking coin, I will not lie. Not bad, not bad. Bernard, good call, bro. I don't know why every time I scroll down in the chat, it just yeets to the bottom of the list. It's probably a sign that I should be ignoring some of these things. Yeah, I saw that Arbitrum had a big unlock. I don't, you know, really care that much about those things as much. Your lists are so organized. Honestly, this is not even that organized, man. I've had way better list organization than this. Blepe butt tats in Tahoe. You know, don't leak that, Kurtowski. That's for Paragon only. All cheeked up. Any INJ? Look at INJ. It doesn't look terrible. You know, so it did the meme triangle breakup. Time to delete these lines though. It doesn't look terrible. I really like INJ in 2023 was one of my favorite coins to trade. I traded it a lot last year. It's been just like in a perpetual range, you know, chop fest. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too optimistic on this one. It's not a terrible play by any means, but it's not my favorite. It's not showing any like will to break up this year. Kathy Woods is my time machine hall pass. You want to fuck a young Kathy Woods? What about Jesus coin narrative because Easter's coming? God damn, we got to make that coin immediately. Jesus coin narrative. Lucifer has been acting up this stream. I'm all for it. DCR said lines and levels are memes. If so, what do you bid on intuition? So like pretty much everybody that trades for a really long time realizes that TA is a meme, right? TA can be useful for structuring risk primarily and having a general idea of where you should do business. But as time goes on, you should move away from just the level go boink kind of stuff. I don't really think that that's going to do that well for most of you. It's not going to give you any sort of edge. You either need to develop true edges with, you know, I would obviously shill like order flow because that is what has worked so well for me over the years. But to be honest, you kind of build up an intuition from trading a lot, and that's really the best thing that I could say. if you trade a lot and you can develop that kind of autism that will help you guess things, you know, I mean, that really is the answer. The pre-sale son and the order flow daughter. Lines are memes, but memes work. That's true. Yeah, I mean, memes tend to go up. If you grew up watching Thundercats, you're at least from 82. I'm from 86. I'm just too young for that stuff. No, that's not true at all, dude. They were replaying that shit on Cartoon Network in the 90s for sure. In like the mid to late 90s, that shit was on Cartoon Network. Nice try, Lucifer. Best TV show was Ninja Turtles. Yeah, Ninja Turtles was sick. We fuck with Ninja Turtles for sure. What rank are you on Counter-Strike? I don't actually have a rank right now because if you get high rank in Premier and you don't play right away, they remove your rank. So I was 17k in Premier a couple of months ago, but I haven't played Premier since then. Lately, I either play Face It or I just play Comp. And if I play Comp, I just troll super hard for fun. So I was in the top like 7% in the world on Counter-Strike like 2 months ago in Premier, but I lost my rank because I didn't play for like a week, and I haven't played Premier since then. If I try in Counter-Strike, I could actually be good. For the most part, I don't really try that much anymore. I just play for fun. I miss Halo teabagging the enemies. That was sick. Yeah, the good old days. I was dog shit at video games back in Halo days, though. I was too young, I think. Magus toxic, bully gamer confirmed. That is confirmed for sure. Levels for Solana? I already went over them. 175 is immediate term support, which we just bounced from. So 175 is the support you want to see hold. I don't really care about any other levels beyond this, you know? So there are no more resistances as I look at it, right? Technically, there's going to be supply at like 200, there's going to be supply at like 230, and there's going to be the all-time high supply at like 260, but I don't care about any of those that much. I already did INJ Cryptoski. It's not... It doesn't look terrible, but it also doesn't look that good. It has no momentum this year is the main thing that's bad for it. Aptos. Yeah, we can look at Aptos. I gotta figure out how to type first, though. Ooh. Aptos has a pretty strong trend going for it right now. I would be if you're interested in playing Aptos, I would be looking for trend continuation plays on it. Not bad, not bad. FTM. What the hell was I drawing over here? Sometimes I see my drawings and I just don't even know what the hell is going on. Phantom doesn't look too bad. The local trend structuring is really strong. I mean, it's really extended from value. But yeah, I mean, dips look good for buying on Phantom and Aptos. Yeah, high time frame on Sui looks insane for sure. Near. Yeah, I mean, Near looks decent. Same kind of argument as I would say on any of the other ones. Any of these coins that have these strong trends like this, you want to buy pullbacks on. Not really interested in using my brain beyond that right now. Why does Sui look so sendy? I don't really know how to answer that question. Why does Sui look so sendy? You mean from how I look at things, or why is it going up? Why is it going up? I have no fucking idea. Why do I think it looks good? I like that the local trend structure is really healthy. It did the classic big booty bottom coin thing, and the yearly looks really good, right? And it's bouncing from yearly VWAP. So I mean, the yearly VWAP is sloped upwards. It's using this VWAP as support. Those are all things I want to think about. No shot you guys want me to look at Cardano.
I'll look at it because you guys are in the Paragon group. That's it. I don't know. If you want to bid Turbo Vaporware, then maybe Cardano's a good play. Cardano will be a good play whenever retail like really floods back in, because they'll get shilled on this thing really hard. So eventually Cardano will probably be a pretty good play. I'll go ahead and ignore it most likely. The only reason why I'll buy Cardano is if my group chats with my real life friends, if they start buying it, then I'll probably buy it. What's your favorite coin to trade in 2024? Probably Whiff. I've had like a couple good trades and one like monster trade. I wonder if it's still on this chart. Yeah, I mean, this trade was fucking ridiculous. 236% in like a week and a half, like 10 or 11 days, 236%. This was, and I was pretty sized up on this one, so I think Whiff was probably my favorite coin to trade this year so far. Anyone who mixes crypto and religion gets a one-way ticket to hell, for real, for real. Why is everyone calling for a Cascade event? I don't know what other people are calling for. Don't know. Probably because they're sidelined and poor. Get a W on each butt cheek. It was order flow daughter. You read it as OnlyFans. Well, I mean, why would I not assume that OF is OnlyFans? Let's be real. Transformers were pretty dope. That's facts. Transformers were pretty dope. The theme song was insane. They changed the ranks and something because I played one game and won and placed 14K. Don't fucking lie, Sluice. You're 4K, and I know it. You're fucking playing CS without me. I asked you to play CS and you fucking dodged me, you piece of shit. If we get a CS rank, we can narrow it down a lot. Guys, you're never gonna know those kind of information about me, because if you're ever actually accurate, I'm just gonna hit you with misinformation, and I'm just gonna lead you down the wrong path if you're ever close. So it's never gonna happen. Can you show us how you'd look to get an entry on Sui? Man's asking a reasonable question, so I'll try to give him a reasonable answer. Alright, this is fucked right here. I'll go ahead and say that right there. Anybody who's trading this is getting chopped the fuck up, so sorry. The monthly VWAP looks interesting. I mean, you're just trying to get bids in this region if you can, right? So you're trying to get bids at like from 160 down to like 150 is your bid zone, because your risk definition is really good below that, right? To try to trade the breakout. And what I would probably do would be saying, don't buy perps for this, buy spot so that you can stomach this chop. Because if somebody bought perps, like let's say you got a really good entry and you bought perps right here, were you really going to just sit through this shit on your perp trade? Probably not. So you probably want to be trying to buy as low into this value as possible and buy spot so that you can deal with the chop and AFK on the bag, basically. I think that this looks really good, and you would be hoping to get another trade down in the like 150 region. Tia too strong? I'm pretty sure that is fake news. I'm pretty sure Tia is in the gutter right now. Tia too strong. Yeah, it looks really strong, bro. I don't know about that, bro. It's just reverting back to where it just came from, but it looks, just because it's green doesn't mean it's strong. This thing's actually a weak piece of shit. Let's be real. Alright, we're probably going to wrap up the stream here in like 15 minutes because I've degraded down to just being toxic to the chat, so it's probably over here. This is a perfect moment for me to shield pressing like. We peaked at like 220 viewers or something, and we have 89 likes or 90 likes. Press that like button for me, please. I'm trying to grow the channel so that we can be
one of the channels that helps the noobs instead of the 200,000 subscriber accounts that just dump on their followers, right? We're not trying to be those guys. Fuck those guys. I already looked at FTM. I said it was good. Coin. Okay, yeah, we'll look at coin really quickly because I'm actually kind of curious myself. Damn. I mean, this thing has a really healthy trend, to be honest. Technically, where it just traded to right here, with the quarterly bands, could have been the dip buying zone. I don't know though. I don't trade this thing. I don't have any exposure to it. I think it's a good play. It's like a safe way to have crypto exposure. But yeah, I mean, it looks aight. Magus OnlyFans when? Whenever I get liquidated for my full stack, we'll start OnlyFans. Would you say Prime is away from pretty... I don't really know. I know a bunch of people that are long on this thing. I have a bunch of friends that bought this thing. Would I say it's pretty far away from value? Well, I mean, you tell me, right? Does it look pretty far away from value? It definitely is, but this thing's in a really strong trend, so just because something's far away from value doesn't mean it needs to pull back right away. It probably just, it needs to converge with value eventually. So it looks, I mean, this thing's in a really good trend right now. This is one of the ones that I got shilled on really early on and regrettably didn't buy. It looks good though, no doubt. Good coin. The Charlie misspelling is wild in the chat. Joe looks good. Let's see. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Bit of dip to like 90 cents. Toxic chat degradation syndrome. MAGA Macus. Yeah, buy MAGA coin, guys. Any thoughts on the RWA sector? I think that the RWA narrative is a good one. It just hasn't taken, you know, the only coin that's done really well has been Ondo. Dusk has been all right as well. Dusk has been one of the ones that I've been paying close attention to. This is doing exactly what I said that I thought it would do on the Paragon Outlook this week. I thought it would deviate this level. So if it starts to reclaim over 32 cents, that's a sender kind of situation for Dusk. I think that the RWA narrative is a good one. I think eventually RWA will take hold and do really well. For the time being, though, where you're just like, it's just getting grossly outperformed by AI and memes. And some of like the alternative layer 1 type situations. So I think the RWA will have its time in the sun, and it will do very well eventually. It's just, you know, kind of too early to it right now, I think. Advice for someone who ends up getting too analytical over the lower time frame price action whilst in a trade and ends up exiting too early to protect emotions. Turn your brain off, right? You go retardio. That's the answer. You need to learn to stop thinking. And like if you're in a high, you know, the classic kind of argument is if you're in a lower time or a higher time frame trade, why are you looking at lower time frame? You know, that's pretty much it. You know. It depends on where you're at in your experience level. I break that rule all the time. I look at lower time frame price action on my swings all the time because it's not going to affect me. I'm not going to get shaken out because like we have a bearish daily VWAP when I'm in a multi-month swing trade. So try to turn your brain off, Josh. It's the best thing I could say. Don't look at lower. Just simply don't look at lower time frames. How about WorldCoin? What's the retina scanner coin we're working with on this thing? The trend is really strong. It looks pretty decent overall. It pulled back into standard deviation 2 on the anchored. I mean, it's not too extended from value. It looks okay overall. You know, I would maybe keep an eye on it, but it's not my favorite. I mean, some of these other coins I think look better.
But it's not a terrible coin by any means. The trend structuring is reasonable on it for sure. Thoughts on how you'd fare against BitBoy Crypto? I love how that you put BitBoy Crypto and not just BitBoy in a boxing match. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he'd probably beat me because he's been training and he is on, you know, crack, right? So I'd probably look at those screenshots of him in that fight. Like, dude's cracked out. I would probably get bodied by him because he's, you know, you fucking put me, a normal person, against a crackhead, I'm probably gonna lose. Let's be honest. Working on a DNA sequencer for Dystopia coin. Who wants the pre-sale? All right, just give me 72% of the supply and I'll shill it. Easy. Later, cows. Tyson or Jake? I'm not gonna lie, if Jake beats Tyson, that would be an absolute tragedy. Go look at videos of Mike Tyson when he was younger. I wouldn't wish fighting Mike Tyson on my worst enemy. That guy is an absolute... He's not even a human being. He's just literally the embodiment of fear and testosterone in a human being. I'd fight for you, Magus. Respect. You could be my champion. I'm like a pretty like active and healthy guy. I work out a lot and stuff. I don't train. I don't be training to strike. I never asked for tickers. Could you look at Tesla? I need to learn how to spell Tesla first, though, right? Jesus, it does not look good. Not looking good. You get 69% of the supply. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This trend on this thing is dog water, right? It's been downtrending from 2022. The yearly trend on it is bearish. I mean, not looking good, bruv. It looks really bad. What was your specific question? Do you think Tesla could hit the 2020 VWAP? Could it? For sure it could, dude. I mean, just because the trend is down right now, so could it come down to $87, $85, whatever? It totally could. Lucifer, if I was Magus, I wouldn't mind the ticker drop. Some actual insight alongside it. Magus needs all the help he could get. Fucking, that's too much. What gym do you train at? Nice try, Fed. I do go to the gym like twice a week, but I actually built my own home gym like 2.5, almost 3 years ago. So I do a lot of my working out at home. I only go to the gym when my workout buddy can meet me, but he has a normal job as a normal person, so it's much more difficult for us to line up our schedules together. For those that want to trade perps this bull market, do you recommend sticking to intraday targets to avoid those flushes? Yeah, I mean, basically for trading perps, you should be looking for whenever there's big flushes in the market, buying that shit up, taking profit when momentum gets lost, and all the swing trading stuff should either be with futures or spot. When I was a kid, Tyson was in his prime. Watched a whole lot of his fights live. It was a whole different level. Yeah, I mean, the man's he still is, right? I mean, he's older. He'd still probably fuck up 99.9% of the world population in a fight. The speed that guy had in combination with like the power, it was just like such a disgusting combination. Go watch videos of him in his prime, and you will feel like the biggest bitch if you go watch that. It will just totally emasculate you watching those videos. Jake is a huge favorite in the betting markets. That's wild.
All right, homies. That my stream totally degraded down into just peak stupidity, like probably 45 minutes ago. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in and having a good laugh with me. I always, I mean, for me personally, it's really boring to sit here and come on and tell you what I think Bitcoin's gonna do. Been doing this kind of shit for a long time, so it's boring. So I really enjoy like joking around and like being stupid with the boys in chat. So yeah, let's bring more of these retardio vibes to the chat more, because it's just more entertaining, more fun for me personally. Hopefully, you guys learned something, and hopefully it wasn't just a complete waste of time. I can never really tell if I'm actually saying useful stuff or not. Really, the feedback is the only way that I actually know. But yeah, quick little Paragon show. Just check us out. We got credit cards set up now, so big tings. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.